welcome back everybody. Kathy Arbor here, and today is a Watercolor Tuesday, and we're going to be doing a little more of a winter type of botanical, I guess you could say, and it's going to be, let me get this out, a pine cone with sprigs of pine needles. So I got this on Unsplash, so you can just look up pine cone. I think that's all and there's not a whole lot of them, so you can pick one you want to do, and I thought this would be a good one for watercolor, and you can put it any way you want. I put it this way and just drew it out. You can make them larger, the photocopy, and just trace on the photocopy if you don't want to draw it yourself. But it's always good to give it a try anyways of drawing. So this is, I thought I'd do it in my sketchbook, and last week we did, what was it? Can't remember. I don't want to take this out because it's protecting my, I can't remember what I did. You'll have to check last week's. I've been doing so many different things this week. This is my November, so that's what we did last Thursday, and I really enjoyed it. And there is a traceable for this one also in the members stream, and if you were interested in the members videos, I'll just put a card up here for you after the stream, and you can check on that, and it'll tell you all the information of all the levels. And this coming Monday and Tuesday is the members videos, and I'm going to do videos on both of them because it's Thanksgiving weekend, so everybody's busy, so there's no point in having a live stream. But for the budding artist and hire, I did this cute little elf. It's a Christmas elf, and that's what we're going to be doing on budding artists and hire. And I will be doing a video on this, and there will be a traceable for you so you can play along. I hope you give this a try. It's not as hard as it looks. I will give you step by step, and I'm sure you'll be able to do it. So I hope to see your results in Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all three. Hey Brenda, good to see you. So, may as well get right to it. I've already drawn it out with just a number 2 pencil. And this is going to be fairly easy, and I thought I'd put a little bit of a background behind it. And we're going to put snow on some of this too. So I'll show you how I go about doing that. I have my water beside me here, clean water. So I think right now I'm going to try and do a little bit of a wet into wet. Now this isn't watercolor, so paper, so it's not going to react the same way. And I've already pre-wet my papers here. Now I'll get a bit of reaction, but not as much if I put it on watercolor. So you might want to use watercolor paper if you want more of the reaction of the paint. But it always looks pretty anyways. Doesn't matter what you use. And just remember that the paint does dry a little bit lighter. Now with your watercolor on sketchbook paper, and that's what this is, you do have to remember to dry in between because it does soak into the fibers of the paper a lot faster, and it can peel. the paper into little balls, and you don't want that. So I'm just adding some raw sienna, a little bit of leaf green, and some Henza yellow, just to get a little bit of background color here. I'm going to go a little bit darker on the bottom here. Nothing special, just throw some on. A bit more of that dark maybe in here. Hey, Devin. And then just dry it. Now you can pat off if you want a little bit more texture. Just pat off with a paper towel, or you could put saran wrap on it and let it dry naturally, and it will give you some really neat effects. I have to go for some air. That's fine. It's recorded. Life happens. Thanks for popping in. Hey, Kim. Now, if I were doing this on watercolor paper, I wouldn't be drying. I would be adding to it, just to give it more texture. Hey, Dorothy, good to see you. We got a bit of snow today. We've still got snow squall warnings, but we didn't get as much as they were saying, which is all good. I want this good and dry if I want to put more water on it. It should do. And it's a little crinkled, but that's fine. It all flattens out once the book's closed. So now, if that bothers you, you can always put little clips on, or I don't even know where I put my clips. Don't normally use them that often. Oh, there's one. It's any kind of clip, just to keep the paper down. And another one. I got one somewhere, but I don't know where. Oh, it'll have to do for now. I can always put a little bit of tape. Like that. Alright, so there's the paper from Unsplash, and you can just look up pine cones and you'll find a few different ones for you to try out. Now, I kind of want some of these pine cone or pines to be kind of blurred out, but it's going to be a little harder to do that with the sketchbook paper. Now I'm going to try and do some by wetting the page again. Now I suppose if you have watercolor crayons or pencils that might work this way. If this doesn't work, I'll try that. And you want a fairly dark green, so I have a nice dark green here. And this one is Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine, and a fairly small brush. And I want to just do a few. I think I'll get it in smaller. I want a fairly small. Yeah, see, it's not going to do it because it soaks into the paper so quickly when you have scrapbook paper or sketch paper. So you kind of have to, I think I'll try and see if I put watercolor. I don't know if I have any. Just hold on. See if I have any watercolor pencils. I have ink pen. Try watercolor pencils. I just have this cheap. This is my extent of watercolor pencils. They're about 20 years old. I just never got into them for some reason. Let's see. Maybe, I'm not sure what the colors are like. There's a green here. And that's pretty bright. Maybe a brown. And we'll see what this does. I'm going to sharpen the brown and the green. Oh, that's bad. Oh well, let's try it. It's not dark enough. Need a darker. Can do some in the background, I guess. Just do a bunch of scribbles, and then that brown one a little bit, because you will have brown in the and then I'm going to take my brush, not too wet, and I'm just going to go over those lines, and maybe they'll, this, like I said, this is cheap watercolor pencils, so they're probably not going to do a whole lot. But use what you got. That's what I always say. Sometimes you learn more when you try and do the same process with something different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's how you learn. That's what I like to do. I'm going to get a script liner, I think. Oh, something longer. If I can find one. A little better. Something with a little bit longer bristle. And you can make just a few. Change up the color. Just do a bunch of sweeps, just lightly touching your paper. Now you can go all different ways, so don't worry about that. Change up your colors. This one's very easy. There's no real wrong way of doing this. Just have fun. There could be lots of strokes, there could be fewer, whatever This is a white pine, so they have really long needles. And we'll put in some pen work with this too. More. Maybe some darker. Maybe darker near the where they grow from the stem. It might be a little darker. So you can put that in. Maybe some brown. Just have fun with it. Okay, and the center, you see this here, it's fairly dark. It's got a few light areas, but it's fairly dark. So I'm just going to take raw sienna, or raw umber, and just dab. Kind of in between the areas. Just make some dab marks. Then you can take some raw sienna and just add a few. Doesn't matter if you're going into that other wet paint, they'll mix, making another tone. Add a little bit of Payne's Gray to that, make it a little darker yet. Sometimes in between the real dense parts will be a little bit darker. I'm going to put a little bit of that into some of these stems. Just lightly. Just have fun with it. Hey Julie, Judy, Kim, good to see you. All right. Now with the pine cone itself, it's kind of dabbed in. So I'm going to take, this is a number 4, Rosemary's. It's a red spotter, so it's got a shorter bristle, so more control. And I'm going to take some raw umber, or burnt umber, sorry, and a little bit of raw sienna mixed with that, just to lighten it a little bit. And I'm just going to do a bunch of marks. Don't have to be precise. This is basically I'm base coating. I'm just going around the edges though, because I know those areas could be a little lighter than the interior. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of that raw umber. I want these fairly dark, so maybe some of that Payne's Gray that we mixed here. You can mix some of that with it. Just in between, more or less in the center, we want some really, really dark areas, shadows. look at your reference. You can see what is darker. Don't have to go accurate though. This is just for my sketchbook. More of a documenting what I've seen for the day. Now I'm going to dry that. Okay, and now I want to take my brush, bigger one, it's got water in it, and put a little bit of a wash in the areas that would be showing some white. So right over top of the whole thing, basically. Okay, dry that again. Okay, so now we can take, I'm not going to put any more paint on right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some line work. And with this one I'm going to use a black. So I've got a number 3 here of a Secura Microperm. These are waterproof. And we'll start off with putting in some of these really dark darks. So you can, I like to just put a bit of hash marks in, and don't outline everything because we're going to be putting a bunch of snow on this yet. Highlights. Now some of them you can are in the shadow, so if you notice in here, so it's basically seeing where all those dark sections are. You can do this like as accurate as you want by drawing this out if you wanted to, or tracing it on tracing paper. You could do that too. This is a very loose rendition. It may not look like pinecone right at the moment. You just kind of have to wait till you start putting more highlights and low lights, shadows. I'm gonna put snow on it too, so then it'll look a little bit better. And I'm gonna put some dark areas in here too, because it just on the base where the pine cones come out of the stem. It's fairly dark. Some in here, a few. They grow in clusters, so don't put them sporadically separate. Make some kind of clusters. It reminds me of actually eyelashes. Eyelashes also grow in clumps. A little bit more line work looks nice too, because it's more sharp. So the painted lines that you used for the watercolor needles kind of look blurred out. It's more on the background, which is nice. And we can put a few across the and it'll be some marks in the stem. It'll be just do a bunch of squiggles. It'll be darker on the bottom. There's lots of shadow in there. So this is fairly easy for you guys to do. So just take a look at that. See all the shadows in there? It's almost black. You could even take a larger nib, so that's a 3. I could take a 5, maybe in brown. There's a 1. This one. 1. It's a 3. There's a 5. A little bit of a heavier line to it. Just put a few of those in. that. Hi, Isabel. Okay, so then we put a little bit of highlight, and this time I'm going to use some gouache. So I have some gouache here. Just going to take my, put it out on my palette. And I'm just going to highlight. If you notice, there's quite a bit of highlight on the bottom and on the top here. So this is more or less in shade along there. So we'll take a smaller brush because I want to have a fair amount of detail. And I'm not going to put any water in the gouache because I want it to be full strength. And then we'll just put some highlight on the tops of some of these. Now you can make this, you know, more like snow if you wanted to. It's up to you. Some areas are a little bit finer. Okay. So this is when you can pretty well show the direction of the pine cones, the whatever they're called, the sections. Some are going to be a little lighter, a little more white on them. Alright, so that's basically it there. And if you notice on here, some of the tips are kind of have a yellow, greenish yellow hue to them. You can do that by mixing a little bit of that white gouache with a little bit of that yellow. Maybe a little bit of green in it. And with a fine script liner or round, small round, you can put some of that greenish color in some of your just has to be a little bit more. You have to have a fairly good amount of white in there, not too much water on your brush, or it doesn't really show up a whole lot. And they're more or less on the ends. You take a pencil crayon, do this too. I'm going to put some green in there, and I want to have some overlapping my pine cone. If there's enough gouache in it, it should go on. Alright, let's see, where's my pencil crayons? Let's get kind of a this one is it's hard to see. Yellow chartreuse. Oh, that's not good. It's a bad Prisma. And I'm just going to see if I can put, no, it's not going to show. Too light. So, what can we use? Let's try a green. Nope. It's too hard to indicate that. So, maybe this one. Try this one. Try Posca. Like I said, in my book, I try all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of watercolor mixed media. Yeah, it shows a little bit. slightly. Put some in. This gives a little more definition. And there's some brown ones in there too. Let's see, got a nice brown. There's brown. Let's see this one. Try it. Yeah. A little bit of brown in there. There are some dead ones you will find. Not all alive. A lot of your needles die off in your white pines. They're a very messy tree, actually. Cream, maybe. That's good enough, I think. So there, just a bit of brown. You could do cream. They do die off quite a bit. Now we can put some snow in here. I'm going to use one of these Deerfoot stipplers. Kathy, I think I need to spill my coffee on it. It's too good. Dot. I'm just going to use, I'm going to dab off the side. I don't want it too thick. And I'm just going to sprinkle some snow on it. Just on the top. Doesn't have to be a lot. Depends how much snow you got that day. Maybe just in a little bits along the stem. Maybe there's a little bit on the don't want a pattern when you do snow. And some areas will be a little bit thicker. Maybe just a smidgen there. Then I'm going to take a little bit of kind of a blue. So cerulean blue, muddy it up a little bit, some brown, and just underneath where you put the snow, there'll be a little bit of a shadow, not a lot, a bit, so just muddy up that very bottom part. Here. And then dry it. So to make it even more realistic looking, you could also take your pen, this is the number 5, just where some of the snow is, you might see a few marks or what are they? Twigs? No. Needles coming out. That just gives it a little bit more realism, because snow wouldn't necessarily be thick so that it covers them completely. So you'd see a little bit of needles through it. So you can put a few, just a few here and there. And the same thing with the these sections of the pine cone. Maybe you'll see a little bit of the tops of maybe a couple through the snow. There. See, just put them through the snow a little bit. Gives it a little bit more realistic look. Right? Now, just to finish this off, I do have these things. Let's see. Could put in first snow. See. F I R S. T. Some ink. That was dumb. I thought you'd have to spell them backwards, but you don't. F. At least I don't think you do. Yeah, I gotta do it the other way. Okay. F cast did you, what did you use for the white? These. It's Poster Color by Shin Han. It's kind of hard to see. I found those, they're really nice to work with, and they're more economical to buy them like that. Okay, S-N, where's my N? Sorry guys, it's probably boring for you. N. N. O. W. There. There we go. I think that turned out cool. So today is 11/23/21. Take this off now. Better. There we go. Oh, that's what we did last week. Was it that? No. What did we do? What did we do last week? Don't remember. Was it the face we did last week? Let's see, did I date it? 11/9/21. 11. No, we did this one. We did that one. I wasn't sure if it was that one or the face. 16, yeah. So give it a try. Just look on, this was Unsplash, I got this photo. Or take one of your own. And you can figure, just copy right off your photograph if you have some traceable. If you don't want to draw it, that's all you have to do. This weekend we're doing, for the members, we're doing this, and this is in watercolor. And I have a traceable for this, and I'll be teaching you start to finish, and with the bokeh effect on the bottom. And this is for budding artists and the blooming artist levels. The traceable will be available for all levels though, but if you want to take the lesson on how to paint it, it'll be the second and third level. So hope to, and it'll be a video, won't be live. So I hope some of you will give it a go. It's not that difficult. Everything's drawn for you. And I actually used the copper paint that Xander gave me for the bells. Oh, I love it. And we'll be doing, for the blooming artist, I'll also be doing a video, and we'll be doing stencil techniques with jelly plate and without without the jelly plate. So there's different ways of using your stencils, and we'll be making a journal page. So it's a short one today, but I have a poor little puppy that just got fixed yesterday, and she's a real she's milking it for all she can, and she is just pitiful. So I have to get back up there and see what she's doing. Thanks, Joan. They'd be really pretty for a card too. And as you can see, they didn't take very long to do. So if you want to do Christmas cards, is that another thing you might want to have? It's probably late for Christmas cards, but leave a comment down below to let me see what are you interested in for the future. More stuff you'd use in your sketchbook? Or do you want to do cards, or, you know, what type of watercolor do you want to learn? I'll be throwing in the elves every once in a while, and the little fairies. I can't help it. I like doing them. Fun. Maybe you want to learn portraits. Maybe more into the whimsical side of things. They're a little easier. Oh, you're welcome, Brenda. I'm so glad it's helping you. It's just a matter of learning what the water and pigment together, how it reacts, how much water to pigment, that type of thing. You really have to play with it. And there's so many ways of using watercolor. It's just not one way. Like, you could get really into the detailed botanical side of things, or something very more washes is what I like to do. It's not really like a botanical side of, but I like this. So it's whatever you want to accomplish. Then you just have to work at it. All right, so I'll let you guys go, and you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Just try and reflect on all the good things that you have, and be kind to everybody. That's really what it's all about. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. And we'll see you on Tuesday. Well, we'll see you Tuesday at Kathy's, because I will be doing the start of the cow painting on Tuesday, and we'll be doing jelly printing with Kathy. And then Thursday we'll be starting the cow. We'll see how long it takes. We might have to extend it into Colleen's stream, so we'll be on all 3 channels. It does take a little while, but it's fun, and I hope you'll play along with us all. All right, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.